what is your view of an honest mistake, which might lead to a significant regulatory issue or the loss of lives in aviation? Oh, wow, this is very specific. Okay. Is an honest mistake acceptable?
Well, I can say, for example, what happened at ING, there was no bad intent behind that. So I consider the 800 million euros coming from honest mistakes that people made, just very human mistakes. And you know, people are not perfect. We are not perfect, right? And we make mistakes, but if it's on a scale, like for example, a bank like ING, and there are other banks, right? But if it's on such a scale, in such a fundamental process as AML, right, where your customer need to be identified, and you have to make sure that criminals are not using your bank accounts. You know, I can at least say for you know, yes, it's, I think a lot of things that go wrong have to do with human mistakes, and there are absolutely examples of bad intentions, of crossing the line, which I think you have to be very clear about that. That is absolutely not acceptable, right? I think a lot of organizations fall into the mistake of not being clear around that, of accepting non-acceptable behavior. But if it comes down to human mistakes, yeah, I think, you know, you have to, I think the obligation is that you find out, you know, really find out what happened. And then I think with a lot of individual behavior that you see, there's also a connection to the culture in an organization. So the social system in the organization that's, you know, puts a social norm out there that people have to adhere to, and that there's, you know, social reward and social rejection if you don't. So it's much more, I think, you know, looking with this lens of behavioral risk to those kind of examples also helps you to understand, right? And again, if it's non-acceptable behavior, then be very clear about that. But I think the majority of the behavior has a much more complex story to it, which I think for organizations is key to find out, because they have to continue with the organization. They have to move on. They have to keep the organization alive.